Hello everyone and welcome. You are watching the EBC international coverage of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Ambaso Yahe coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Tonight, we have live updates from several of our correspondents from across the US and Canada. Thomas Likeness in Edmonton, Alberta reports about a visitor from the Philippines who dies of COVID-19 linked to meat processing plants in Canada. Emmy Kapili Toroha, Brisbane, Queensland, Australia.
Australia resumes sports activities in a COVID-19 environment.
Ken Cruz in Fort Washington reports about outdoor activities resume in Maryland. Don Omar Cuevas in Little Rock will report about Arkansas's governor extending the public health emergency by 45 days. Brando Andrade in Santa Clarita.
Los Angeles County is set to launch phase 2 of its recovery plan on May 8th.
Plus, tonight we get to meet a dynamic workout duo who, despite the pandemic, inspires gym rats to stay in shape even if they're stuck at home. And a safer way to enjoy nature walks. But first, an overview of how the world looks now. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University and Medicine, as of 3 p.m. Eastern Time Thursday, May 7, 2020, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 3,800,000. This includes more than 1,200,000 in the US and more than 65,000 in Canada. Sadly, this virus has claimed more than 267,000 lives worldwide. This number includes more than 74,000 deaths in the US and more than 4,500 in Canada. Our coverage begins now. A visitor from the Philippines died of COVID-19 linked to meat processing plants in Canada. Eagle News correspondent Thomas Likeness in Edmonton has the details.
Coronavirus has claimed the life of a 71-year-old man from the Philippines who was in Canada visiting his son in High River, Alberta. Armando Salyegue, a widower from General Santos City, developed symptoms and was taken to hospital on April 23rd. Now, that's the same day that his son was first diagnosed with the illness. 12 days later, sadly, Armando died in a Calgary hospital. His son, Arwen, worked at Cargill, the meat processing plant in High River, where there's been a huge outbreak of coronavirus. Arwen paid tribute to his father on his Facebook page. He wrote, and these are his words, "Pa, we will always remember you. Thank you for making us strong and for your undying words of wisdom. Our condolences to Arwen's family." Well, we've talked a lot about those big outbreaks of COVID-19 at the huge Alberta beef processing plants. The one owned at Cargill, by Cargill, reopened this week after a 14-day shutdown. There have been questions about its safety, the safety of workers on the production line. Nearly 950 workers at that plant were infected. Down the road at the JBS plant in Brooks, Alberta, another 566 were infected. Alberta's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Dina Hinshaw, says her department is keeping a close watch on these plants.
I want to be clear that we are monitoring each of these outbreaks very closely, working with operators to contain the spread, and making sure that all public health measures are being enforced and taken seriously.
Hinshaw says these are some of the measures being taken.
For example, controls in place include staff temperature checks and symptom checks before entering the facility, face masks and other personal protective equipment provided to employees and worn at all times, enhanced cleaning and sanitizing practices, staggered breaks and shift flexibility to prevent gatherings, installing additional sinks where needed to ensure that hand washing can be done while distance is maintained, and increasing distance between employees to ensure 2 meters of separation.
Hinshaw says investigations are underway to find out the cause of these outbreaks.
Potential non-compliance that may have affected the health and safety of workers at the facility. Complex investigations such as this one can take a significant amount of time to complete. I've been assured that more information will be shared as the situation evolves.
Hopefully, that will give some comfort to workers who have gone back to work at their jobs in these plants. For all of you, I wish you good health. Take care of others. Take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for accurate and balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Some very sobering stories from Edmonton. Thank you, Thomas. Australia resumes sports in a COVID-19 environment. In Brisbane, Queensland, we have Emmy Kapili Taroha with the story.
Here are the latest COVID-19 updates in Australia. By end of April, the Australian Health Protection Principal Committee, otherwise known as AHPPC, issued a statement considering the sporting and recreational activities to resume in the country. These include elite competition in professional sporting codes. As sports activities provide many health, economic, social, and cultural benefits amidst the COVID-19 environment, AHPPC emphasized that the resumption must not compromise the health of individuals or the community at any level. There should also be an objective basis coming from credible health information to ensure safety. The committee also endorsed national principles to serve as important guidelines for the resumption of sport and recreation activities. This safeguards the public, ensuring specific, stringent, public and personal health measures are observed and meeting minimum standards. Along these lines, the committee also endorsed the Australian Institute of Sport framework for rebooting sport in a COVID-19 environment, recommending a move to Level B based from this framework that may seem to be appropriate already in the coming weeks. This is, of course, for pending consideration by the National Cabinet. AHPPC also endorsed the creation of a multi-sector COVID-19 Sports and Health Committee to closely monitor and report on any COVID-19 related issues during the resumption phase, up until a minimum of 3 months from commencement. As for the latest numbers, there has been a steady and so far sustained decline in cases following a peak in cases at the end of March. A total of 6,896 confirmed cases is recorded as of May 7. Over the past week, there has been an average of 20 new cases reported each day, majority of this coming from the state of Victoria. On a more positive note though, around 6,035 recoveries have been reported, with 97 deaths and more than 722,549 tests have been conducted across the country. From Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, Emmy Kapili Taroha, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Now, Emmy, we're just curious about the logistics that must be involved in reopening sports there. How would the resumption of sports and recreational activities operationalize in practice?
Yes, that is really very concerning, Alan. Well, according to the national principles, as the AHPPC released lately, the resumption of sports and recreation taking place in a fashion with an initial phase of
The states and territories will determine progression through these phases, taking account several factors such as local epidemiology, risk mitigation strategies, and public health capability. Children's outdoor sports are also included here, with strict physical distancing measures for non-sporting attendees, such as parents, like me, to be implemented. Plus other outdoor recreational activities, including but not limited to outdoor-based personal training, boot camps, golf, fishing, bushwalking, swimming, among others, are also included in these resumptions. Individual jurisdictions may have varying takes on how they will carry out these resumptions. Now, as to how this will be successfully rolled out is something we need to keep an eye on.
Now, Emmy, before we let you go, we really are indeed a curious bunch. If we were going to open your high school yearbook, you know, because we're speaking about sports and recreation, what kind of sports might we find you involved in? Would it be the mainstays of basketball and things like that, or were you involved in any other kind of sports that were maybe kind of off the beaten path?
As to the restrictions, we have learned a while ago that the larger group sports will really be limited at this point. At the moment, if you do some running, if you do some brisk walking, individual sports can be pursued at this time.
Emmy, are you a walker yourself, or what kind of sports are you into?
Would be walking inside the house considered, Alice? Because I've been doing a lot of marathons inside the house. If that will qualify, then perhaps I'm a walker.
All right, Emmy, thanks so much. If anyone's interested in the... Thank you. So if you want to take a brisk walk in a palatial estate, you just have to visit Emmy over there. Apparently there's a lot of space for you to do some walking. Thanks again.
Thank you.
When we come back, more COVID-19 updates from our Eagle News correspondents. We will return shortly, so you want to stay with us.
Magtatagumpay tayo, salamat. Kung mag-fail tayo, salamat. Ang importante po, sinubukan natin, ginawa natin yung makakaya natin.
Napatunayan ko na yung talent na binigay sa akin ng Diyos, mas may expose pa. Kaya sa mga ibang artist dyan, lalo na sa mga may kapansanan din, mag-explore pa tayo ng ibang bagay tulad nito. Huwag tayong magtago, huwag tayong mahihiya. Gawin natin kung ano yung gusto talaga nating gawin.
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sanmig Sugar-Free White Coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na, Sanmig Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved Nutri-Chunks, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies nyo. Listo ganado sa Nutri-Chunks. Co-presented by Hubert, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Hubert, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee. Masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint. Color for protection for your home. Matimco. Matimco is wood. Wood is Matimco. R Square Variables Incorporated, your trusted UPS supplier and UPS maintenance provider in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. CompuZell Computer Services, ID card and lanyard manufacturer. Saisho International Trading Corporation. DN Steel. EMAT UPVC Roof Corporation.
Hi! Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
The successful development of TPLEX, or Tarlac-Pangasinan-La Union Expressway in 2009, a 4-lane toll road that extends from Tarlac City to Rosario, La Union, with an additional approved extension of 56 kilometers all the way to San Juan, La Union. This is expected to reduce travel time to Baguio and other provinces in northern Luzon. Realizing the vision of creating a better world for Filipinos fueled the team's focus.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News. I'm Alan Basolyahe in Los Angeles. Outdoor activities resume in Maryland. Ken Cruz in Fort Washington has the story.
Thanks, Ellen. Big updates in Maryland. Governor Larry Hogan held a press conference on Wednesday to provide the latest updates on COVID-19 in our state. During the press conference, the governor announced that effective 7 a.m. Thursday, today, May the 7th, the list of safe outdoor activities will be broadened to include golf, tennis, boating, fishing, and camping. He also announced that closed functions at state parks will be reopened, including all state beaches for walking and exercise, as well as playgrounds. Governor Hogan said local governments will have the ability to take similar actions at their discretion, but he said it is critical that everyone continue to follow public health guidance and practice physical distancing. Also at the press conference, State Superintendent Dr. Karen Salmon announced that schools statewide will remain closed for the rest of the 2019-2020 school year. Online and distance learning will continue. Also during the press conference, Governor Hogan announced that hospitalizations had been on a 5-day downward trend with a slight bump on Tuesday, and ICU numbers have plateaued in the last 8 days. The governor said that if these trends continue into next week, he'll be ready to lift the stay-at-home order and begin stage 1 of recovery, which includes the reopening of certain types of businesses and lower-risk community, religious, and quality-of-life activities. Our governor also vetoed a sweeping plan to overhaul public schools and fix generations of inequity on Thursday, saying that the pandemic made the costly education proposal irresponsible to enact. Quote, "The economic fallout from this pandemic simply makes it impossible to fund any new programs, impose any new tax hikes, nor adopt any new legislation having any significant fiscal impact regardless of the merits of the legislation." End quote. That's by Governor Hogan as he wrote in a veto message that he struck down 22 different bills that carried a price tag. Among them was a $580 million disbursement to the state's historically black colleges and university, key to settling a long-running lawsuit over the inequitable funding. Hogan warned weeks ago that high unemployment and widespread economic hurt made it unlikely that he would approve any legislation that forced the state to spend more money. Maryland has already spent as much as $2 billion on the pandemic and seen economic losses so large that the state could lose 15% of its annual revenue by the end of June. Maryland regulators are finding Sage Point Senior Living, nursing home that has reported the state's highest coronavirus-related death toll in the state, for failure to use appropriate personal protective equipment, failing to separate residents with suspected or known COVID-19 cases, and not obtaining lab results in a timely manner, according to a letter to the facility sent on Wednesday. The 165-bed facility in La Plata will be fined $10,000 per day for the deficiencies beginning March the 30th when the Office of Healthcare Quality began its survey and continuing until it complies with the state regulations, according to the letter sent by OHCQ Executive Director Patricia Tomsko-Ney to Sage Point Chief Executive Andrea Dwyer. The fine marks the first civil penalty the state has levied against a nursing home since the pandemic began. There have been 34 deaths among patients at Sage Point and 1 employee has died, according to the state data. As for our state numbers, the number of known coronavirus cases in Maryland on Thursday was 29,374 cases. The number of virus-related deaths reached 1,503. In Fort Washington, Maryland, Ken Cruz, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
The resumption of outdoor activities, certainly encouraging news, but the message remains the same. Social distancing must be followed. Thank you very much, Ken, for that report. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson extends public health emergency by 45 days. Don Omar Cuevas in Little Rock reports.
Thanks, Alan. Here in Arkansas, the number of COVID-19 cases is now just below 3,500, with 2,041 recoveries and 80 deaths. Yesterday, Governor Asa Hutchinson extended the public health emergency period in Arkansas by 45 days. The emergency period was originally going to end on the 21st of May, but it's now going to end in the beginning of July. Governor Hutchinson stated in the press conference that these measures are being taken in order to, and I quote, continue to adequately support and protect Arkansas's industries and people until the threat is no longer imminent, end quote. This order, known as Executive Order 20-25, also includes rules regarding certain out-of-state travelers from places such as New York, New Jersey, and New Orleans. Travelers from these places and others are required to follow quarantine directives from the Arkansas Department of Health. In other news, the governor has announced the reopening of various public services. A couple of days ago, gyms and fitness centers resumed operations. Today, cosmetic and therapeutic services like barbershops, salons, and spas are back in business. Many people here in Arkansas are finally going to be able to get that haircut they've been waiting for. Later this month, dine-in restaurant services and large venues, such as theaters and lecture halls, are going to have a limited reopening. Meanwhile, I hope you're staying safe and healthy in your part of the country. Here in Little Rock, Arkansas, Don Omar Cuevas, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you for that report, Don Omar. You mentioned that some barbershops will be able to open again, but from the looks of it, you don't need to do a single thing with that amazing hair that you have. Los Angeles County will launch Phase 2 of its recovery plan tomorrow, May 8. Eagle News correspondent Brando Andrade has the details.
Thank you, Alan. The Los Angeles County Department of Public Health recently announced the roadmap to recovery for Los Angeles County, which is a phased approach for safely reopening businesses of Los Angeles area. This approach is a 5-step plan gradually relaxing the current safer at home order. After observing this order for more than 50 days, tomorrow, May 8, we'll launch Phase 2 of the roadmap to recovery plan. Phase 2 will allow a limited number of businesses to open their doors as long as proper physical distancing and infection control guidelines can be implemented. This will also allow the opening of golf courses, car dealerships, trails, and curbside pickup for retail stores through online and pickup orders such as florists, books, clothing, music, toys, and sporting goods. According to the Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, public trails and golf courses will reopen this weekend, with the exception of Runyon Canyon. He further announced that a mandate will be in place for social distancing and the wearing of face coverings while on golf courses and trails. With the opening of Los Angeles County parks, a park monitor program will be launched at trails and golf courses to remind visitors, players, and trail users of the proper requirements needed before entering and throughout their visit. Additional staff training, updated operation protocols, and a prominent signage have also been implemented to prepare for the reopening of the various LA County parks. With phase 2 of the Roadmap to Recovery already launching tomorrow, Mayor Garcetti stressed that this virus is still dangerous and Angelinos need to adjust to a new reality, even with some changes. Angelinos are still reminded to avoid non-essential travel, to wash hands frequently, don't share communal food or drinks, frequently clean high-touch surfaces, maintain 6 feet physical distancing, and wear face coverings while in public. In Los Angeles County, the total number of confirmed cases is 29,427, with 1,418 deaths, as announced today by the Los Angeles Public Health Department. Meanwhile, the state of California now has 54,937 confirmed COVID-19 cases and 2,254 deaths as recorded by the Johns Hopkins University and Medicine Coronavirus Resource Center. In Santa Clarita, Brando Andrade, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Brando, I actually have a lot of family members that live out in Santa Clarita. Aside from the hiking trails, I know that there are also walking pathways in the city. I believe they're called paseos. So my question, Brando, is I'm sure like many other individuals, you spend a lot of extra time with your family during this pandemic. So with some things on schedule to be reopened, is it time to spend even more time with the family, taking a hike on one of these trails or paseos, or will you be finding your way on the golf course, getting your swing back in proper form?
I don't have any swing, actually, Alan. But funny that you mentioned that. My girls are planning to go out this Saturday, this weekend. So we're probably hitting the trails, probably sweat it out and shed some pounds that was unintentionally accumulated during the quarantine time. And also, I'm guessing that we will be doing also some bike rides, because there's a lot of paseos here in Santa Clarita or trails. And yes, we are going to reintroduce the outside world from the house to our family, because they've been inside the house for quite a while.
Now, Brando, before I let you go, one final question. Are you also looking forward to barbershops and hair salons being open?
Absolutely. I don't know if you noticed, but I need to have some perm and some, some conditioning to happen on my hair. So I'll probably do it this weekend, Alan.
Excellent. We can't wait to see a picture of you. Thank you so much, Brando. Coming up, meet a dynamic fitness duo from the Bay Area, connecting and inspiring so many to stay in shape despite the stay-at-home orders. We'll return shortly. This is Eagle News.
Isang magandang imbitasyon po para sa inyong lahat. Ngayong May 9, May 10, dito po sa Net 25. Hala, ito na ang bagong programa. Ang pamagat ay Tagisan ng Galing. Makikita po natin kung gaano kagaling ang Pilipino. Ang Pinoy ay talagang magaling. Ito po ay pang-aliw, pangkasiyahan, at siguradong magugustuhan ninyo. Net 25, May 9, May 10, Tagisan ng Galing.
Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News. I'm Alan Basolyahe in Los Angeles. Are you feeling fatigued, bored, or nervous about what these shelter-in-place mandates are doing to your body? Or do you have this built-up need to do something to take some control back over your situation? The good news is, well, you're not alone. There's a group you can escape to if you're willing to put in the work. You want to take a look.
3 months into the COVID-19 madness has brought a mixture of emotions, to say the very least. Millions have filed for unemployment. Thousands have no clue where their next meal is going to come from. And unfortunately, many businesses have shut down. The fitness industry are one of those businesses. With an estimated 37,000 gym establishments in the US alone are either temporarily shut down or out of business for good, forcing millions of members to get their exercise either at home or by other means.
Alright, so hopefully we're a little bit warmed up. So we'll start today, 3 sets.
These voices belong to the Watgos, a fitness dynamic duo that brings inspiration, intensity, and most especially, an escape. Residing in the Bay Area, they've refused to bog down to the state lockdown and have thought outside the box, creating a fitness group that has linked hundreds of people all over the world together.
Lynette and JC's workout group has truly been one of my favorite things about sheltering in place. Before we were told to stay home and as gyms started to close down, I was really nervous that I wouldn't stay motivated to exercise while sheltering in place. And I was questioning whether or not I was going to keep up with my workout routines at all. Having this workout group really helped me to stay motivated, and I'm so thankful to Lynette and JC for giving us their time multiple times a day, 7 days a week, to make sure that we're all connecting with each other and we're all taking care of ourselves and exercising while we're sheltering in place.
Since the lockdown, they started an online workout group called Shredded in Place, where they hold workout sessions 3 times a day, every day, through the video conferencing app Zoom.
Being in Lynette's Telegram group, Shredded in Place, during this time has been extremely beneficial for me, especially since I can't play any volleyball or I can't go to the gym. So it's extremely difficult to remain motivated to work out. And having the people in the group, posting their progress and how they're doing and their workouts, and having a group workout in general, I think it's a huge benefit for all of us that are obviously stuck at home.
She's very knowledgeable. She's a very good teacher, very patient with us, teaches us the moves so that we don't injure ourselves. So whenever I am training with her online, I really get a sweat and a really good workout.
Today's Monday, huh?
Alright, I forgot that.
Good job, guys.
An choir leadership meeting. Bye, guys.
The Shredded in Place workout group has grown exponentially since the beginning, always accepting, always supporting, and always motivating. Reporting for Eagle News, I'm Michael Hudson. We live in interesting times.
Now, there's a fitness duo that inspires through online workouts. Wow, we just have to say, wow, truly motivating. Well, we do have the dynamic duo with us today. Please welcome Lynette and JC. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
Hi, good. We're doing awesome.
Awesome, awesome. That's good to hear. So, of course, my first question has to be, how much does it cost to join? Looks like a fun group, but what's the cost involved?
It's totally free. The happy faces are priceless to us.
Wow, okay, so even someone on my salary can afford to join your group then?
Yes.
And what's fascinating is that anyone from anywhere, as long as they have an internet signal, can join your group.
Yes. So anyone with Zoom capability, can definitely join on their phones or on their laptops.
And we really like how you mentioned that seeing them have fun and progress is really sort of like your payment. Is that exactly how you feel with this group, these groups that you're able to work out with?
Definitely, it's a passion of mine to help others, and people do say you should charge, but I definitely, in my heart, I just want to help people, especially during these difficult times, just helping them get a sweat.
Okay. Now, well, you did mention that this is your passion, so I guess what we want to know is this your job or is it just a hobby? If not, what do you have a job? What tell us about yourselves.
Well, for me, my main full-time job has been recruiting and HR, but I've been training and coaching on the side, like off and on throughout the years. But I'm spending this downtime to pursue more of my passion.
And you, JC?
For me, I'm an actual personal trainer at Crunch Fitness, Walnut Creek. Yeah, it's been about 1.5 years now, so it's been part of my journey of moving up here from SoCal, and it's a great job to have, helping other people reach their full potential.
All right. Now, how did this group or this movement, the Shredded in Place, get started?
It started basically, when the shelter in place started, I wanted to keep my motivation to work out from home. And then so I asked others if they wanted to join. So I know there's one specific friend. I'm like, hey, are you free 9 o'clock tonight? Do you want to do a workout with me? So she joined, and then we did that for a few days. And I realized how fun it is to have others, and then how accountable we kept each other. So I was like, hey, I'm going to start a Shredded in Place chat group on Telegram. And then from there, people started inviting their other friends, and it grew tremendously. So that's basically how it started.
And now for a couch potato like somebody I know, see him in the mirror every morning, if I saw this hashtag Shredded in Place, I might instantly jump to the conclusion it's shredded lettuce from my taco. But I know it's not. It's actually, getting up a sweat and getting active. I'm assuming Shredded in Place is a play on words. Are we correct?
Well, shredded was like my goal, gain more muscle, lose body fat. That's basically what shredded means. So being in the shelter in place, I'm like, when we got sheltered in place, I'm like, I'm going to get shredded in place. Nothing's going to stop me from my goal. So, yeah. But there's nothing wrong with tacos, too. You can have it if you work out.
So I guess that's the reward for actually working out. Now, the video said that it's open to everyone. I tried searching for hashtag Shredded in Place. I didn't find you guys. Where can people who, want to join find your group?
Like I said, it's been more like word of mouth. People have just been referring friends. I have one hashtag that Shredded in Place. We've been posting more of on stories on Instagram. But if you guys want, my Instagram is adrena.lynne, Lynne, and then I can give you all that info.
Excellent. These days, most of the times what media report on is the stark reality of the world today. There's a lot of fear, uncertainty that everyone is suffering through. But how does it make the both of you feel knowing that you've created this positive environment during these times? JC, what about you?
I feel like the stuff that we do is connecting people from different parts. Actually, it's amazing how it's grown to go to different countries and parts of the United States, East Coast. We got Washington, we got Seattle, Canada. Even the other day was in the Philippines. Someone was in a different time zone. Even some people that are close to me from my childhood that joined recently, and it was amazing how it comes full circle.
Lynette?
Even though it's a difficult time, it's like you said, it connects people. I mean, there's things that are beyond our control, like jobs and things like that. But one thing that we can take control of is our health. So that can be something that anybody can do, and we can definitely put that as a top priority right now. And it's a good reminder, when things get back to relatively normal, people will be more aware of their health and creating good habits. And one thing that we teach them at home is how to work out at home. So it can take 10 minutes or so. So, when it gets back to relatively normal, people would be able to fit in a workout and put their health as a priority.
Well, that's an excellent message, because you said when things go back to being relatively normal, but even before the pandemic, do you feel that people as a whole just didn't take enough concern about their own personal health?
I believe so, because we're all used to the grind, waking up really early, working a 9-to-5 job, and then going straight to other activities that we have in our lives and taking care of families. So it's very hard to put your health as a priority when you have so many things that you need to take care of. So that's why we have different classes right now, and it just, like I said, the workouts don't have to be long. And then I'm hoping that everybody learns how good it makes them feel to exercise. It definitely improves your mood. It, it decreases risk of various diseases. So all of these things we need to be aware of, because if we want to be there for our kids or have that energy for our jobs, we need to put ourselves as a priority first.
Now, JC, because you actually, your profession is working for a gym, I can imagine that there are some people who make the excuse that they just are not confident. They say, the gym is for people who are already kind of in shape. They make an excuse saying, let me get in shape kind of first before I head off to the gym. But with you and Lynette now being able to provide home workouts, do you think this will also build confidence in people that maybe when things are lifted, they really won't have an excuse to go to the gym also?
Yeah, I think the fact that you have accountability with a group that's helping you have that inspiration and that motivation to keep going, and you look forward to it, it's something that will help a new person want to continue going. And I think it's, for me as a personal trainer, we had 4 pillars. One was nutrition, the second one was supplementation, the third is exercise and movement, and the fourth is coaching and accountability. So the accountability is a big factor to it for you to want to continue going and create a habit, because health is wealth.
All right, excellent. Now, what are your plans for the group going forward? Will this be sustainable after shelter-in-place mandates are lifted?
People have actually asked me, is this going to continue? Like what I mentioned earlier about the grind, that's why I'm utilizing this time to pursue this, because, before I had no sleep, I woke up early. I would work out 4 in the morning. If need be, I do want to take advantage of what I have at home. I think after this, nobody, they would realize they don't have a gym. They don't need a gym. For myself, I'm like, I don't need, I work at a gym too, so, but, yeah, so after, if people want to continue, then we just have to be accommodating. If they're willing to wake up 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, I'm willing to do that.
Well, I'm sure that's the least that they could do, since you're also making the sacrifice to get up that early in the morning. Now, what are your takeaways from this experience?
My takeaways are, it's just the connection with everyone through this group. It's amazing. It's making the shelter in place, or this whole situation, a lot very memorable for me. It's sad to say, it's a very difficult time for a lot of people. Even it could be for us, but we're using it as a positive to bring people together. So my takeaway is just, even though people don't want to work out or they don't have that motivation, as long as they have someone like a friend or, to kind of push them, then they'll be inspired on their own, So just asking someone if they want to work out or storing them in it, they'll eventually want to take care of their health.
Excellent.
That's my
So,
takeaway.
so you mentioned positive. Do you have any advice for our viewers so they can hope to enjoy positive experiences during this pandemic?
The positive thing about this is, we're having efficient quality that leads to quantity, and I think that's what's going on with what we do is helping other people reach their full potential, even from home, even during this pandemic. You guys can create a great habit for yourself so that, from now on, you could actually know that there's people there that are doing the same thing you're doing, and they want to be healthier. They want to have a good immune system, especially with what's going on in the world today. So that's what I would say.
Also, to add to that, to be positive in this kind of situation, like our group, it's you have that support. So whatever you're having difficulty in, go to a friend, go to someone, talk to them. Don't keep things in. And if it's exercise that you need, ask a friend, or you can post about your goals, or find an accountability group like ours. That's what I think that can make people turn around and, from having a hard time to be more positive in this situation.
All right. Now, before we let you go, I just wanted to actually frame two of the important points that you each made. JC, you mentioned about health, and we do know that if you're healthier and stronger, you're going to be able to weather a sickness better than those who maybe not are working out so much. Very timely advice, wouldn't you agree, during this pandemic?
Yes, I believe in this philosophy of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So as a trainer, that's what we do to try to make them have a better lifestyle.
I think that's wonderful advice for everyone. And the point that I wanted to also highlight from you, Lynette, is you talked about going out there and having a partner or a group of friends in order to be accountable for your own workout. My question is, do you and JC also work out together? And if you do, I have a follow-up question.
Sometimes, like, he runs every day. He's actually on a 3-year streak to running a 5K every day. I enjoy more of the weightlifting, but I will run sometimes and do various things. We also share the passion of jiu-jitsu, so we do martial arts as well. He got me into it, so
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5K. 5K every week. My knees already hurt just listening to you say
every
that.
Day.
And so it's not every week, it's every day.
It's every day.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I'll just take your word for it. And you mentioned jiu-jitsu, and I know that you can't really, it's different than other martial arts disciplines, right? You really need to have somebody to practice with. Is that right for jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, it's called gentle art, jiu-jitsu. That's what it means in Japanese. But it's learning how to be having actual leverage from your limbs. You don't need a weapon or anything.
Yeah, you have to be close to each other, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. So I suppose we'd look a little bit silly.
A dummy.
A dummy, okay. But without a dummy, I suppose we'd look kind of silly just practicing all by ourselves. Lynette, my question. Lynette, my question to you before I let you both go is: you said you do on occasion work out together. My question is, who, when you work out together, who has to keep up with whom?
I think he has to keep up with me.
Are you convinced with that answer?
It depends.
Even in our workouts, I'm the stretching guy in the beginning and the end of the class. And she's like in the middle. So it's like she's the middle of the sandwich and I'm the buns. Yeah.
Well, very diplomatic answers from both of you. Lynette, JC, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you.
Coming up, the new and safer way to enjoy nature walks as some states gradually lift COVID-19 restrictions. Eagle News will return in a moment.
May talent ka ba? Ito na pagkakataon mo. Baka ikaw na yung hinahanap namin.
At nandito lang kami, hintay namin kayo. Halina kayo, dali! Maging sikat at makilala sa buong mundo.
At ipakita nyo na ang kakaiba nyo ng galing.
At talento.
Matagal na kitang hinahanap.
Tara, ikaw na.
Abangan! At malapit na po, Tagisan ng Galing!
Hello, my name is Robin, and I'm 5 years old. My mom and dad said many people are getting sick. That is why we have to stay at home. That is why I cannot go to school. I cannot play outside, and I cannot even visit my friends. We can only go outside if we visit the doctor, or if we need to buy some food. And when we get home, we have to wash our hands. While I'm at home, I do my homework, clean up my toys, help cooking our food, and help my parents with their work. Please stay home so we can all play together again. Bye!
You're watching Eagle News. I'm Alan Basoyahe in Los Angeles. Having to stay at home for several weeks now has made so many anxious to get out there and return to what used to be. But because the pandemic isn't over yet, and what used to be is far from reality, although some states are slowly reopening, we still have the responsibility to keep ourselves and others safe. Even if in some states people are now allowed to go to public places, it is our duty to make sure we are doing our part to fight the pandemic. Tonight, Eagle News correspondent Ninita Manawis in Dallas, Texas, takes us on a nature walk while keeping in mind social distancing guidelines. Take a look.
Howdy from Dallas, Texas. I'm Ninita Manawis, and today we're taking a break from the indoors and getting some fresh air out. Let me take you for a nature walk here in North Texas. Today, we will be exploring Oak Point Park and Nature Preserve, which is located in the city of Plano, Texas. Walking is a great form of exercise while practicing social distancing, a policy that is also enforced in this park. Point Park and Nature Preserve is 800 acres and Plano's largest park. It is made up of nearly 8 miles of concrete trails and 5 miles of soft surface trails, making it an ideal location for walking, running, and even for bike rides. There are 21 trails listed on the park's website, and the pond at the park is open for canoeing, kayaking, and stand-up paddle boarding. With all these features, the park is a natural escape from the hustle and bustle, even though the park is located inside city limits. In Dallas, Texas, this is Benita Manawis, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Simply beautiful. Thanks, Nenita. Eagle Broadcasting Corporation invites you to our 52nd anniversary event, Enjoy Music Beyond the Crisis. It's an online concert that streamed in the last 2 Sundays and will happen again on May 10 and 17 from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Philippine time. It is an e-concert for a cause streamed on all EBC social media channels to help our frontliners, healthcare workers, and communities affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. A few reminders before we end today. Wash your hands often with soap and water. Cover your mouth and nose if sneezing or coughing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Avoid contact with sick people. If you are sick, stay home and call your healthcare provider. Practice social distancing. Keep distance between yourself and others and avoid crowds. Wear a protective face covering when out in public. Let's continue to thank our frontline and essential workers with a round of applause. That was my version of a quick 5 claps. Once again, thank you so much to our frontline workers and essential workers. We definitely appreciate you. And that is today's EBC International coverage of the coronavirus pandemic North America edition. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alan Basoyahe. We live in interesting times.
Ida came back from her trip in Wuhan, China. She is a positive carrier of the coronavirus.
Hi, I'm Lorna.
Lorna is Ida's cousin. She can be a family member, a friend, a relative, a colleague, or anything related to Ida.
Hi, I'm Faye.
Faye is not related to Ida. They don't know each other. She can be a stranger Ida meets on the train, in the supermarket, movie house, or in any public place. Now, Ida is in the hospital and is being treated, and Lorna is placed in quarantine. Ida doesn't know Faye. Lorna doesn't know Faye. And Faye doesn't even know anything.
Hi, I'm Innocencio.
Innocencio has no contact with any virus carrier. But if he goes out, it takes at least 14 days for the symptoms to show on Faye. This is the purpose of a community quarantine or lockdown, to give time for the healthcare professionals to find Faye and all those she had close contact with, and to keep Inocencio from contracting the virus. Let's stop the spread of the COVID-19.
We salute all our frontliners and healthcare workers. We are with you in this fight against COVID-19. I am Tyronel Piliulu from EDC Japan Bureau, because we live in interesting times.